Welcome back to the tutorial series on image processing with OpenCV in Python. In this tutorial, we'll be looking into two of the drawing functions, namely Cv2 Circle and Cv2 Ellipse. Now let's jump into the first function, which is Cv2 Circle. The first parameter which we must pass into the Cv2 Circle is the image on which we are going to draw. The second parameter which we are going to pass into Cv2 Circle is the center coordinate of the circle. This center coordinate must be passed in as a tuple, and only integer values must be passed in as the center coordinate. The third parameter which we must pass into the Cv2 Circle is the radius of the circle in pixels. The fourth parameter which we must pass into Cv2 Circle is the color of the circle in BGR format. This must also be a tuple. The final parameter which we must pass into Cv2 Circle is the thickness of the circle. Thickness is the thickness of the border of the circle in pixels. Suppose you have to draw a filled circle, just pass in -1. So when I call Cv2 Circle by passing these following parameters, I will be getting an output which is similar to this. Now let's jump into the programming part of Cv2 Circle function. Now let's start with importing Cv2, and I've imported Cv2. One second, and let me import numpy. Sorry for the mistake. Let me import numpy as np, and let me create an image of my own using np.once of let the size of the image be 800 comma 800 comma 3, and d type be np dot unsigned integer of type 8 of 8 bits, and let me multiply it by 255 so that the entire image is completely white. Now let me draw a circle of on the image of center coordinates 400 comma 400 of radius, let it be 200, and color be blue, and the thickness be 10. And let us view the image using cv2.im show of image comma image, and let me wait until a key is pressed, and once a key is pressed, let me destroy all the windows. So let's save it, and let's run it. So let's wait for the output. So see here, this is how our output is going to be. Since we passed a thickness value, it's not going to draw a filled circle. Now let's draw a filled circle. So let me again call this function cv2.circle, pass in the first parameter, which is the image. Let me say the same center coordinate, and let the radius be 150, and let me draw a red color circle this time, and let me say that I'm going to draw a filled circle so that I'm passing in a -1. So let me run this again. Let's wait for the output. Oops, it's taking a little long. Something's not right in my computer, so let me kill the terminal and run it again. So see, this is how our output will be for this time. We are here, we have two circles. One is the blue colored circle, and the another thing is the red color filled circle. That is about cv2.circle function. Now let's look into cv2.ellipse function. The first two parameters of cb2.ellipse function are same as that of cb2.circle function, which is the image and the center coordinate. The third parameter of cb2.ellipse function is the axis length. The axis length is nothing but the half of the length of the horizontal axis and half of the length of the vertical axis of the ellipse. These values must be passed in as a tuple, and this must be an integer. The fourth parameter which we must pass into cb2.ellipse function is the angle. The angle is nothing but the angle of the horizontal axis with respect to the axis of the image. The axis of the image is shown using the dotted line, and if I specify the angle to be 45°, my horizontal axis will be aligned in such a manner. So this is what the angle function does. And the next two parameters are the start angle and the end angle. The start angle and end the uh, starting angle of the ellipse with respect to the horizontal axis of the ellipse, and the end angle of the ellipse with respect to the horizontal axis of the ellipse. Suppose if I specify 45 and 270 as the start angle and end angle, my ellipse will start at 45° and end at 270° as shown by the blinking point. So this is about the start angle and end angle parameter. And the next two parameters are color and thickness, which is self-explanatory. And when I call cv2.ellipse by passing all these parameters, I will get an output which is similar to this. So this is how a cv2.ellipse function will look like. And now let's look into the programming part of cv2.ellipse. So let's start with cv2.ellipse function. I've already imported cv2 numpy and created an image of size 800 cross 800, and I have all the basic code set up. Now let's draw the ellipse. Let me call cv2.ellipse. Let me say the image on which we are going to draw. Let me specify the center coordinate to be 400 comma 400, and let the axis height be 200 comma 150, and the angle be 0°, the start angle also 0°, and the end angle be 360°, and let's say the color to be blue 255 comma 0 comma 0, and let me specify the thickness to be 10. Let me save this and let me run this now. So let's wait for the output. See over here, this is how our ellipse is going to be. And since we have specified the start angle to be 0 and all the parameters to be the same as default, this is how our ellipse is going to be. And let's play with the angle of the ellipse now. Let me copy the same piece of code again. Let me paste it, and let me say that the start angle will be 45, and let me say the color to be green now, and let me draw another ellipse, and let me specify the start angle to be 90°, and let the color be red now. Oops, it's 255. And let me draw another ellipse with the start angle to be 135, and let me give some random color over here. Let it be 120, let it be 100, and let it be 80. So let's save this, and let's run this again. Let's wait for this. See how the output is now. So this is the blue colored with the start angle 0. This is the green color with the start angle 45. This is the red color with the start angle 90°, and this is the some random colored ellipse with the start angle to be 135°. And this is about cb2.ellipse. And let me show another example of how the start angle and the end angle affects the ellipse. So let me copy this again and let the start angle be 0. Let the angle be 0, but the start angle be say 45, and let this be 270, and let's draw a black colored ellipse, and let me pass in -1 so that the ellipse is filled. So let me run this piece of code now. So see how the start angle and the end angle has played a role over here. The ellipse has started at an angle of 45 degree and ended at an angle of 270 degree. This is how Cb2 dot ellipse function works. And that's it for today's tutorial. And if you like the tutorial, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And if you have any doubts or queries, just post it in the comment box.